Okay, so about yesterday's direct. Some things I was right on. I was completely right about. Others I was way off on. Let's see. Of course, I should probably list off everything that was there. Well, actually, no. Everything in total on the first part of the list. Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, Bayonetta Origins, Dragon Quest III Remake, Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection, Genshin Impact, Hollow Knight Silksong, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, Metroid Prime 4, Octopath Traveler 2, Pikmin 4, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Okay, first of all, of course, we did get a trailer with the release date for Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, as I suspected all along. I mean, Bayonetta Origins got a trailer, again, as I expected, if I remember correctly. Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse got something. I mean, of course, I don't know if it. Of course, I don't remember, or for sure, I mean, if it was in the American direct, but other than the sizzle reel. But yes, there definitely was. It was definitely, if nothing else, in the Japanese direct. So it still counts. Yeah. And neither of the classic Square Enix titles I put on the list were there. No Dragon Quest III Remake, which, okay, I mean, probably too early for that. No Pixel Remaster Collection, which I honestly thought that would be in the sizzle reel. Oh well. I guess it's not important enough. Yeah. Of course, Genshin Impact, that's another thing on the list. None of that here. Or today. Or yesterday, I should say. Either it's just not ready yet, or I mean, it could have fallen through, but on the other hand, unknown. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I did say that there might be some bonus content, some additional content, and featured in there, and I guess I was right. Mega Man. I mean, they did in fact show off an epilogue that wasn't in the original game. Yeah, one moment while I fight this thing. Yeah, of course the key's got in the way, and now I've got it. Ow. Anyway, let's see. Oh, Mega Man Battle Network Collection. That, of course, was a sizzle reel, as I suspected, but would be the minimum. And of course, Metroid Prime 4. I knew full well it wouldn't be there, and I said it probably wouldn't. But then again, I also said it could be the finale of the Direct. But, well, of course I knew all along that it wouldn't be the case. Of course, Octopath Traveler, that was there. And as just in Pikmin 4, now that, of course, was the opening act, which makes sense. I mean, I knew it would, and either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to, of course, it didn't matter to me where Pikmin 4 would be in there, but it's, well, having it be the opening act, I mean, that's even better. Yeah. So either way, I was hoping it would be there, but being the opening act, well, and revealing some interesting details such as the ice Pikmin. Now that's even better. Yeah. Of course, Tears of the Kingdom was the closing act, which I also suspected it would be, and I was in fact right about there being an amiibo of Link with his new hand. Although still no sign of the add OLED. Yeah. They'll probably just release a trailer for the OLED at a later date, because I know that was real. Yeah, of course, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Surprisingly, no presents there. Why would of course, the idea of there being both a trailer and interviews. Of course, that's something that they would do in a standalone thing. So yeah, it makes sense. Or it makes sense, but you think they would at least have a short mention of it in passing? Oh well. Yeah. Of course. No, and of course now I've sorted out. Well, so of course, as a recap, Advance Wars, Bayonetta Origin, Frame, um, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Mega Man Battle Network, or Octopath Traveler, Pikmin 4, and Tears of the Kingdom all were there, as I suspected. Now, for DLC, on I listed off the following DLC that could or could not be there. Or, could be there, but it's unknown whether or not it would. Fire Emblem Engage Expansion Pass, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope Season Pass, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pass. To my surprise, all of them, save for Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, were there. A new characters new ring characters, that is, for Engage. In a new side campaign for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The return of the original Inkopolis area from the original Splatoon. Wrong button. Which button was the shield again? Shield. What was the shield? Well, that is technically a shield, but that's not what I had in mind. Yeah, it's been a while. Other than yesterday. Yeah, not that. Not that either. Ow. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, of course. Where was I? Yeah. The Splatoon 3 expansion bringing back the classic Inkopolis. It'll be good to revisit. It's the place where. Alright. Well, you know. Of course, it's not as if it's been that long since I've seen the place. I, of course, have continued to enjoy the Wii U version, and even have a series showcasing my continuation of that. Which is currently being edited. But of course, you notice I may have skipped over one of the DLC items. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. First of all, the Yoshi's Island course looks amazing, and actually hardly looks plasticky. Sure, it doesn't look perfect, but well done. But the bigger item of interest is Birdo. And they're actually adding a new character, and of course more on the way, most likely. Yeah. So if they're adding Birdo, then who knows who else could be on the way? I mean, let's see. We've got, as for characters that could show up, of course, I guarantee it's gonna be more than just Birdo. I mean, they have to end it on an even number, an even row, don't they? So of course, characters that come to mind are of course, let's see, Kamek, King Babam, Pauline, maybe even Diddy Kong. In fact, I'm hoping Diddy Kong. So, yeah. For known upcoming DLC, we got DLC for Fire Emblem Engage, Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 3, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So yeah, I'd say that that was a good selection of reveals. Okay, now for the embarrassing part. The list of public and personal suspicions. I mean, for the public suspicions, I wrote down Batman Arkham Collection, Borderlands 3, Chrono Trigger, F-Zero OGX, and for myself, F-Zero AX, but I'll get back to that. Kid Icarus Uprising HD, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Metal Gear Solid Anniversary Collection, Metroid Prime HD, in a new Donkey Kong game, a new Super Mario game, Super Mario Sluggers, Legends Zelda GameCube HD, Xenosaga, and for my personal suspicions, other than, of course, F-Zero, AX, rather than, and only as a rather than GX sort of thing. Yeah. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney A Trilogy, DuckTales Remastered, Half-Life, Marvel vs. Capcom, NES Remix, Pac-Man World 2 Repack, Silent Hill Anniversary Collection, SimCity, Star Fox Zero, Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2, Tekken, and Watch Dogs. Unsurprisingly, all of these were not there. So I don't know what. So I don't know why I was thinking even mentioning those. Some of them I thought had a chance. Others, such as F-Zero and Chrono Trigger, I knew full well would not be there. Yeah. Oh.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me fight this nuisance. apologize for that interruption. Of course, now, time to address the elephant in the room with that list. Metroid Prime HD was in fact a real thing, and not just a pipe dream that the public came up with. Yeah. I honestly thought they would save that for GameCube Online someday. But I'm glad it's here. I didn't say it wasn't going to happen because I didn't want it. I just merely said it because I didn't think it was going to happen. But because it actually did happen, I welcome it with open arms. And of course, it's not just an upscale either. They actually replace some of the models, possibly re-exported it into the new engine or Metroid Prime 4. Yeah. But of course, one other embarrassing detail is this. I said that they wouldn't shadow drop a game that's going to get a retail release. Of course, I was referring to Advance Wars, but they actually shadow dropped a game that's getting a retail release. So of course I'll be hunting down that. So of course I'll be hunting down that retail version eventually. Okay. So yeah, a recap of everything. Yeah. Advance Wars, Bayonetta Origins, Fatal Frame, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and Mega Man Battle Network, Octopath Traveler 2, Pikmin 4, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Fire Emblem Engage Expansion Pass, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Expansion Pass, and Metroid Prime Remastered. All were actually there. Of course, there were also a few other surprises. I suspected that there would be at least one Bandai Namco game there, but I bet on the wrong horse. None of the ones I said might be there were the one actually there. That being the that being Katamari, a something or other. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of that one. Other than the fact that it's... Yeah. But yeah. Let's see, I listed it for potential Bandai Namco titles. Tekken, Pac-Man World 2 Repack, Xenosaga, and Kid Icarus Uprising. Though those titles could still show up in the future. I mean, I guess having the sequel to Reroll, to the Reroll that they released a few years back, is of course welcome. Is of course a welcome change of pace for what was there. Yeah. Of course, of course. Now I should probably bring up another item of note. Yeah. I mean, Nintendo Switch Online is of course what I'm referring to. Yeah. I honestly thought that I honestly thought that they would, in fact, have, or yeah, really to yeah, my throat seems to be a bit yeah, yeah. So if you know, yeah, seem to have a bit of a frog in my throat today, so that's probably why the recording quality isn't as it should be. Yeah, so I apologize for that detail. But anyway, as I was saying, I mean, I knew that they would update the base tier of Nintendo Switch Online yesterday. However, what I didn't expect was new systems added in February. That is indeed a bit unprecedented. Such updates were always, unless I'm mistaken, a summer or fall announcement. Yeah. Of course, I'm not disappointed that they chose Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance finally. I mean, sure, of course, I have an actual Game Boy Color, which I have to admit, the the stock screen, which one moment while I fight this thing. I'm doing terrible. I mean, why isn't the shield button working? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Wait, what am I doing? I don't need to press any of these buttons. Yeah. Yeah, this'll do. Yeah. So as I was saying, in these, though I have a regular, I mean an actual Game Boy Pocket. Yeah. The stock screen isn't exactly the easiest thing to see nowadays. Um, yeah, unfortunately. So of course having a bit bigger screen is welcoming. I mean, especially if I get the especially if I'm able to get my hands on the OLED Nintendo Switch someday. At this point, preferably that. At this point, preferably that Legend of Zelda one that was leaked a while back. But anyway, I'm getting off. Anyway, as I was going to say, it actually happened exactly how I thought it would. Aside from the date being way off. I mean, Game Boy and Game Boy Color being combined and released on the base tier, whereas Game Boy Advance is a separate uh, expansion pack item. Yeah. Oh, should probably watch where I'm going. Yeah. So of course, the lineup is a bit of an interesting item. And of course, in some of the titles make perfect sense. I mean, of course they would have a Super Mario, have a Super Mario game. Of course they would have Kirby. I mean, of course, and of course is the addition of at least one Game Boy Color game at launch. Makes sense. Especially with one of them in especially. Of course, what I'm trying to say is, well, obviously they're all heavy hitters to start out with. Odd how there's no how there's no smaller titles. But of course they're probably just getting the ones that they thought that would be the most popular, or see, some of the most popular ones. I mean, out the door first before proceeding. Of course, one game I thought would never be there, I mean, Link's Awakening. I honestly thought that that one was disqualified due to the due to the HD version. But then again, it was a few years ago that they released that, and they've probably more than made their money back on that. So, yeah, with it being different enough and enough time passing, makes sense, I guess. But the real surprise, Tetris. Unless I'm mistaken, this is the first time I'm anything from that studio would actually be on the service. So, does this mean that some of the non-Tetris bulletproof software titles will later arrive? What about the NES version of Tetris? Of course, one thing of interest is that other than in The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls in Japan, only Game Boy Color games were specifically announced to be coming soon. Or at a later date, I mean. So I have to wonder, what does this mean? Are these ones that are a while off, that they're reassuring will be there? Or are these actually specifically next? And why have there actually be what? And why have Japan be the exception as far as only Game Boy Color? Is The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls just that popular over there? Of course, not much to say about the lineup for Game Boy Advance, because for the most part, it is in fact about what I was expecting. Yeah. So, but of course, the question does remain: what about N64? I don't think there'll be anything for N64 this month because of the launch of the new systems. Except maybe in Japan, in which case we'll probably get GoldenEye for Japan, seeing as GoldenEye was for some reason absent in Japan. Yeah. Of course, I suspect that the way that they're going to go about it is, of course, for now, focus on just Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, alternating between the two. But then later on, go back to adding in Sega Genesis and the and the SNES library. Of course, I have to question whether. Of course, there's the question of whether they'll be kept separate or be combined. Either way, I highly doubt that at these new systems will be a one-a-month item. I mean, admittedly, Game Boy Advance could be. But I guarantee that they'll probably do more than one Game Boy game per round. Especially because classic Game Boy can easily be just mixed in with NES or SNES games. And they can add the quote-unquote lesser or NES games with less complaints if they also release something for something for the Game Boy alongside it, because even if it is a quote-unquote lesser Game Boy game, such as, say, Alleyway, for example, just having just by the fact that it's at Alleyway, just by the fact that Game Boy is something that's hot right now because of it being a new item that they added, then people shouldn't complain about it as much if what I mean is Game Boy should distract from the quote-unquote lesser or NES or SNES games that they add. Of course, I highly doubt that Alleyway is going to be one of the absolute next games added. They're more likely to add the original Super Mario Land first. Of course, I do hope that Radar Mission is added soon. But I'm not exactly the impatient type when it comes to Nintendo Switch Online, unlike some people. Because, of course, as everyone knows, and anyone with any common sense knows that for any title on Nintendo Switch Online, it's all in good time. I mean, many people want Super Mario RPG, but of course, there's some. It's not a matter of if, but when. And that when doesn't have to be exactly when they want it. So yeah, if there's any, if anyone's hearing what I'm saying, in, just be patient. The title you want for these new systems will arrive eventually. But of course, I wouldn't count on any major names such as Final Fantasy, Mega Man, or Castlevania. These are usually saved for standalone collections on the eShop. Although the Mega Man Game Boy series, that could be the exception. We got Wily Wars. And of course, for the most part, don't expect any don't expect any film or television tie-ins, unless perhaps Nintendo specifically had a part in making it. So anyway, I think that's all for now. I'm probably wasting your time at this point. Then again, this whole thing was probably a waste of time. In fact, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna bother taking the time to upscale this to 1080p. I'll probably just put it on the air on. Put it on. I'll probably just publish it at 720. Y'all have seen Breath of the Wild footage 100 times over. You don't need to see this in a quality that doesn't exist. But anyway, that's all for now. Cut.